If you're worried that you have messed up your journey, you cannot mess up your journey. In this video, I want to dive into how all of this works on a little bit of a deeper level and this process, this ascension process, and help you realize that everything that is happening in your life is happening for you. It's not happening to you. When we start to think about things happening to us, we get into a victim energy, a victim mentality. And I know I've been there many, many times, right? But when you can flip the script on it and start to realize that things are happening for you, you start to see every trigger, every trauma that comes up is an opportunity for you to take a deeper dive and learn more about yourself. And the interesting thing is, the more you know about yourself, the more conscious you become. The more conscious you become, really, by definition, it means you have anchored more of your higher self into this reality, into your physical body. And then you start to experience all of the magic that goes along with that. So, first off, if you have felt like you have messed this up, go ahead and drop a comment in the comments section. I want to know about it because I know I have too. There are many decisions that I've made, or maybe I've missed opportunities with some astrological events, or maybe a new moon or something happening here, and I wasn't quite aligned, and I felt like I've missed the boat. Maybe I've made some decisions where I felt like, boy, I should have known better than to have done that, and that kind of thing. It has happened to me, and it has lingered on. That energy can linger with you because you start to get into that victim mentality of that you screwed it up. Well, this journey there's really no way to screw it up, right? As I've talked about in prior videos, there is really a short path and there's a long path. And the length of the path doesn't matter, right? It's the journey along the path that matters. So there could be situations where you jump on that shorter path and you learn the lesson and you heal the trauma, and then you get to move on to the next thing. But there could be another path you go down where, okay, you've repeated things a few times because you just haven't gotten it, but that led to a big moment or a big awakening on your journey. So if you had taken the short path, you would not have had that opportunity to have that big moment. Okay, so whatever is ready for you, whatever you have laid out on a divine level, on a higher level, will find you. You don't need to search for it. You can't mess it up. Okay, you are here to experience the unfolding of this amazing expansion in consciousness and ride it from an as aligned and graceful perspective as you can. But we're also here to experience the waves, to experience the choppiness. You can't experience this from the higher dimensional fields. The polarity doesn't exist. So you have descended down into this reality so that you can have those experiences. Now, realizing that there's no time and that's all an illusion. If you have not watched my prior video, definitely check that out. I'll put a link in the description for you because it goes into this amazing information that I received about time, the nature of time, and how it's all an illusion, right? So we as the human perceive things are taking longer than expected. I've worked with so many people that say, I wish I would have awakened at a younger age because now that I'm older, I feel like I've missed out on so much. And that is really not what happened. Okay, your path was laid out by you in a way that you were supposed to awaken when you did. In fact, everything that happened before that, leading up to that point, were experiences that you wanted to have. You from a higher level, your higher self, the soul level, wanted to have these experiences. And it's those experiences that led to the awakening. Everything happened as it should. Okay, so I know so many people, they get on a call with me or on Zoom and they say, Mark, I just feel like I've messed this up. I really am down on myself. I'm feeling like I can't recover from this. And really, I want you to know that that is all simply a perspective. That is a wound. That is an old aspect of you that is rising up to be seen. That's the aspect of you that feels like this journey is out of your control. It is not. It is very much in your control. For a good part of our life, the unconscious programming is running the show, but there are lessons in there that you're learning that often lead you to an awakening. They lead you to where you are now. So you can't discount any of those. People come to me and they say, Mark, I wish I had awakened 10 years ago. I'd be so much more advanced. Again, that is a wound, that there is something that is out of your control, that maybe there was something that you could have done to accelerate your awakening, and that just simply isn't true. Those are stories that you're making up in your head, and those stories no longer serve you. I'm going to say it again. Everything that you experienced up until now has been laid out by you for this experience. It's all happening as it should. You cannot screw this up. What is meant for you will find you. So what do we do with this information now, right? Okay, so we can let go of the idea, or start to let go of the idea of that I messed this up, or it should have happened sooner, or I made this decision and I should have made another decision, right? But where do we go from here, right? Well, when you could put that baggage down, knowing that you're right where you are at this moment, you could start to learn to trust that things are going to unfold for you in divine time. That you could let go of analyzing the past. Again, I'm going to refer back to that video from the other day on time, looking to the past, ignoring the future, in fact, not even being aware of the future, right? We can let that go and kind of turn around, get present, and start to see the growth that we've experienced, that everything that you've gone through up until this point in time has been for you. Things are happening for you. It's the mind that judges whether you've made a mistake, whether you did the right thing, whether you could have done something different, whatever. If you get into that energy, you are going to expend a lot of energy hanging out there because it's a lower vibrational state. Now, with that being said, that version of you will come up to be felt, and it's going to feel low vibrational, and you're going to have those thoughts that maybe you could have done something different. But it's important to remember to create space in those moments by getting present, breathing into your body, breathing into your root chakra, breathing into your sacral, breathing into your solar plexus, breathing into the heart space. Anchor into the body, create space, and know that there's no way that you mess this up. Everything happens as it should. Now, you're going to think that, obviously it could have happened different ways, and there are infinite timelines, right? And yes, that's true, but you're focused in on one particular one at any given moment, and that could change in a heartbeat by simply changing your vibration. It doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. Everything that has happened to you, again, up until now, is what got you to this point, okay? A lot of that was probably unconscious based on beliefs and programming, but now that you're awake, you get to gain an element of control over your very own awakening, over your spiritual journey. You start to be able to make choices consciously. Now, all of those unconscious choices from the past led you to this point to be able to take control. And that is simply amazing. So let's pause right now and just have a moment of gratitude for the old you that didn't know any better, the old you that was doing the best that it could with the information that it had. Let's hold in our heart space some gratitude for that aspect so that we can now move forward consciously and not allow that old aspect to serve us in a way that is outdated. We're taking control, yet we want to acknowledge that old aspect and thank it and be grateful for how it served us and kept us safe for all of those years. But it's time to move forward. The more you get present, the more you awaken, the more you're going to see a greater landscape in your reality of choices, of options, of opportunities. And the more you're connected to your body, the more you're going to start to be able to tune in and feel what's right for you in the moment. And you could take that step. And if it turns out that's not the step that or the path you want to stay on, you change it. Okay? But you wouldn't have known that without taking that step. That's not a mistake. That is growth. That is expansion. That is learning. And again, this has been happening your whole life, mostly unconsciously, mostly controlled by trauma and programming. But now that you're awake, you have that element of control. There's energy moving through your lower chakras. You start to feel a little bit more empowered. And if something doesn't work out, you could change in the moment, and you've learned from it. You've grown from it. I mean, to know what's right for you, sometimes you got to know what's wrong for you, right? And you can't know that until you have that experience. Everything is laid out for your growth. You just need to have your eyes open, have your heart open, be aware, and be able to see and experience the landscape so that you could consciously choose what to do or how you want to feel, what elevated emotional states you want to resonate with in any given moment, and you'll see your path will unfold with grace. It will have amazing twists, it'll have amazing turns, but you're going to be aligned, flowing gracefully wherever that river of life takes you along this journey. You're going to be grateful for every moment, and you are going to hold in your heart the infinite potential possibilities that are waiting for you when you can finally let go of that dense emotional state of that you've messed this up. You can't possibly do it. You have got this.